All right, welcome back to the deep dive. Today we're going to be shining a light, so to speak, on something pretty fascinating.
Sounds intriguing. What's on the docket today?
Well, it's something most of us see in action all the time, but probably don't give a lot of thought to. We're diving into the world of LED stadium lights.
Stadium lights, huh?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm interested. I mean, those things are pretty hard to miss.
Exactly. But there's actually a lot more to it than meets the eye. Luckily, we've got a ton of great research to dig through that'll give us a, really in-depth look at the whole industry, like where it is now and what the future holds.
Well, let's turn up the brightness on this topic then. What have we got?
So right off the bat, our research shows that the LED stadium lights market is, as of now, 2025, valued at something like 1.6 billion US dollars.
9.6 billion. Not bad at all.
Not bad at all. But here's the kicker. By 2033, it's projected to, get this, basically double, over 3.2 billion.
Wow. Okay, that's some serious growth. So what's driving this boom in stadium lighting? Are people suddenly more interested in what's happening under the lights?
Well, yeah, actually. Live sports are more popular than ever, but there's also a ton of factors at play. I mean, first, you've got this worldwide push for using energy more efficiently, right? Those old stadium lights, I mean, those things were energy guzzlers.
Yeah, not exactly known for their efficiency.
Right. But LED technology comes along and it's like, bam, a much more sustainable way to light up these huge spaces and, a lot more cost effective too.
Makes sense. Saves money on the planet. Gotta love that.
Plus, we're talking some serious leaps forward in the actual LED tech itself. It's not just like, oh, slightly brighter bulbs or something.
Yeah.
I mean, these are really sophisticated systems now. They're way more powerful, last much longer, and they're even becoming, like, smart in a way.
Smart lights. So, like, they do more than just turn on and off.
Oh, yeah. We're talking about lighting systems that can be tailored to different events, change colors, and even respond to what's happening in real time.
That's wild. So we've got energy efficiency, tech advancements. What else is contributing to this growth?
Well, a lot of it boils down to investment. There's a huge amount of money being poured into building new stadiums and upgrading old ones all over the world.
Yeah.
And all these stadiums, they need the best lighting, right?
Yeah, can't have a state-of-the-art stadium with shoddy lighting. So basically everything's kind of coming together at the right time. The demand, the tech, the investment.
Exactly. And we can't forget, like you mentioned, the popularity of live sports is just skyrocketing. And those events, they need great lighting to really shine.
Definitely adds to the whole experience. Whether you're there in person or watching on TV, good lighting can make a huge difference.
No doubt about it. And let's not forget about, the push from governments and organizations for more sustainable infrastructure.
Yeah.
LED lighting fits right into that.
Yeah, sustainability is becoming a major factor in just about everything.
It really is. But back to the tech itself for a second. One of the big things driving this shift is what's called luminous efficacy.
Luminous efficacy. Okay, break that down for me.
So basically, it's how efficiently the LED turns electricity into actual light. The higher the efficacy, the more light you get for the same amount of power, which means bigger savings on energy costs.
Gotcha. So it's not just about how bright the light is, but how efficiently it gets there.
Right. It's about getting the most bang for your buck, or in this case, watt. Plus, the lifespan of these LEDs is getting crazy long, which means you don't have to replace them as often, which saves even more money.
Smart, sustainable, and cost-effective. That's a winning combo.
Absolutely. And another thing that's super interesting is the companies that are leading the charge in this whole LED stadium light revolution.
Yeah. Who are the big players making all this happen?
Well, names like Signify Holding, Eaton, through their Ephesus Lighting division, and Acuity Brands lighting are right at the forefront. They're constantly researching and developing new solutions that can be customized to the specific needs of different sports and venues.
So they're not just churning out generic lights, they're tailoring them to each situation.
Exactly. They're really pushing the boundaries of what's possible with LED lighting. It's pretty amazing. And this isn't just happening in one part of the world either.
Yeah. Where are we seeing the most growth in this market?
So right now, North America and Europe are kind of leading the way. I mean, they've got those, big established sports leagues and a lot of stadiums that are ripe for upgrades. But here's the thing. The Asia-Pacific region, specifically China and India, are emerging as, like, major players in this market.
Really? Why is that?
Well, a few reasons. Think about it. They've got rapid urbanization happening. Their own sports infrastructure is expanding like crazy. And there's a big push from their governments for energy efficiency initiatives. It's a perfect storm for growth in the LED stadium lights market.
Makes sense. And with all this growth and advancement, what does the future hold for stadium lighting? Are we just going to keep getting brighter and brighter lights?
Well, brighter is good, but it's not just about that. Our research is showing a big trend towards what's called smart stadium concepts.
Smart stadiums. Okay, now I'm really intrigued. What does that even mean?
Imagine this, lighting systems that are hooked up to the Internet of Things, the IoT. That means they can be controlled remotely, make adjustments based on real-time conditions, and even use data to optimize everything for, peak efficiency and the best possible experience for fans.
So basically, the lights will be thinking for themselves.
In a way, yeah. It's all
Yeah.
about creating a more connected and responsive environment within the stadium. And with all this happening, companies in this market, they've really got to stay on their toes.
Yeah, I bet it's super competitive.
Oh, absolutely. To stay ahead, they've got to be constantly innovating and adapting to all these, evolving demands. It's a fast-paced industry.
So, for our listeners who are now totally engrossed in the world of stadium lights, what are some of the key takeaways about this market and its incredible growth?
Okay, so to sum it up, we've got a market that's expected to more than double in the next few years, driven by, like we talked about, the need for energy efficiency, tech advancements, and all that investment in sports infrastructure. But let's get a bit more specific.
All right, let's break it down. Who are the major players in this, shall we say, brilliantly lit market?
So based on our research, the 5 companies that are really dominating the LED stadium light manufacturing scene are Signify Holding, Eaton, working through their Ephesus Lighting division, Acuity Brands Lighting, Inc., Musco Sports Lighting, LLC, and Hubble Incorporated. These guys are the heavy hitters.
Okay, heavy hitters. Let's start with Signify Holding. They're based in Eindhoven, Netherlands, right?
That's right. And in 2023, they pulled in a whopping $8.1 billion in total sales.
8.1 billion, that's massive.
Yeah, and a big chunk of that, like 1.3 billion, came specifically from their stadium lighting solutions. That gives them a 50% market share, which puts them at the top of the game.
Mhm.
So what is it about Signify that makes them such a powerhouse in this market?
Well, they've got a real laser focus on creating solutions that are energy efficient, but
Yeah.
also deliver amazing illumination and, fit into that whole sustainability push. A great example of that is their Philips ArenaVision LED lighting systems.
Arena Vision, I've definitely heard of those. Aren't those the lights you see in a lot of major stadiums?
You got it. They're pretty much everywhere. And the reason is they're known for that really even light distribution across the whole playing surface. Plus, they can switch on and off instantly, which is super important for TV broadcasts and all those cool special effects they do during games. And overall, they just make the visuals for televised sports way better.
And I'm guessing they live up to the energy efficient part of the deal.
Oh, absolutely. Compared to those old lighting systems, these can cut energy consumption by up to 40%. That's a huge saving for stadium owners over time and a big win for the environment. Plus, they've got some serious street cred. They recently partnered with FIFA for the 2023 Women's World Cup, which shows they're a real leader in the global sports lighting game. And just last year, they rolled out some new connected LED systems that use IoT technology for fancy stuff like remote control and performance monitoring. So yeah, they're definitely at the top of their game.
Oh, okay. Impressive stuff. So moving on to another big player, we've got Eaton working through their Ephesus Lighting division based in Dublin, Ireland.
Right, and they've really made a name for themselves with their lighting solutions, especially in professional and college sports.
Yeah, they're all over the place. So in 2023, Eaton as a whole raked in $4.9 billion in sales. And a respectable $820 million of that came from their stadium lighting segment. That gives them a pretty solid 12% market share. What are some of the things that set Ephesus Lighting apart in this competitive market?
Well, they're big on energy efficiency, of course, but they also put a lot of emphasis on reducing glare, for both the athletes and the people watching.
Mhm.
And they're really focused on getting that color rendering just right.
Color rendering, what's that all about?
It's basically how accurately the colors look under the lights, which is especially important for TV broadcasts. You want everything to look natural, right?
Right, of course.
And Ephesus, they do a great job with that. Plus, they're always coming up with cool new stuff. Like their recent Ephesus All Field series, it's pretty neat. You can actually customize the lighting levels and even create different lighting scenes.
Oh, so they can change the atmosphere depending on the event.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Whether it's a big game under the lights or a pregame show with all the bells and whistles, they can tailor the lighting to fit. And they've been busy striking deals with some major sports leagues for stadium upgrades, too. So they're definitely committed to bringing those older stadiums into the LED age.
Now let's hop across the pond to the U.S. and talk about Acuity Brands Lighting, Inc., headquartered in Atlanta.
All right, another big name in the lighting game. They're more than just stadium lights, though, right?
Yeah, they're a major player in the whole lighting and building management solutions market. But in 2023, they still pulled in a very respectable 620 million US dollars from their stadium lighting solutions, which gives them a 10% market share.
Not too shabby.
Not at all. And they've got this brand, Hall of Fame, that's really well known for its high-performance, super durable LED systems, perfect for those massive outdoor venues. So what makes Hall of Fame stand out from the crowd?
Well, like a lot of the big players, energy efficiency and long lifespans are their bread and butter. They also have this really cool platform called Enlight that gives you all kinds of advanced control over the lighting.
Like a high-tech control panel for the lights.
Exactly. But one of their most interesting recent developments is this new Endura series they launched last year. It's got a modular design, which makes it easier to install, and it's got better thermal management, which basically means it runs cooler and lasts longer. Plus, they've been involved in tons of projects upgrading sports venues all over North America.
Okay, so they're definitely a force to be reckoned with. Now let's shift gears a bit and talk about Musco Sports Lighting, LLC. They're a bit different from the others because they're a privately held company.
Right, but that doesn't mean they're not a major player. They're actually a global leader in sports and large area lighting.
Yeah, they're based in Iowa, and even though they're private, they're estimated to have brought in about 900 million US dollars in revenue in 2023, with around 580 million of that coming from their stadium lighting business.
11% market share for a private company. That's impressive. What's their secret sauce?
Well, they've got this innovative technology called Total Light Control TLC for LED.
TLC for LED. Catchy name. What's so special about it?
So it's all about control. It helps to minimize glare for everyone, keeps the light from spilling outside the stadium, and at the same time, makes the whole system super efficient. It basically creates a better experience for everyone involved and helps to reduce light pollution.
Sounds like they've got it all figured out.
Pretty much. They've lit some of the biggest events in the world, like the Super Bowl and the US Open Tennis Championship, and they're always pushing the boundaries. Last year, they launched this groundbreaking wireless control system, which gives you even more flexibility to tweak the lighting on the fly.
All right, last but not least, we've got Hubble Incorporated.
Ah, Hubble. They're another one of those companies that's everywhere, right?
Yeah, they're a big player in the electrical products and lighting world, headquartered in Shelton, USA. In 2023, they had a total revenue of 5.2 billion US dollars, with about 540 million coming from their stadium lighting solutions, giving them an 8% market share. They market their solutions under the Hubble lighting brand. What are some of the things that make Hubble's stadium lighting offerings stand out? Well, they've got this really cool line called Sportscape LED. It's all about creating really even lighting across the playing surface, reducing glare, and giving you dynamic control options.
Sounds like a recipe for happy athletes and fans.
Exactly. And like a lot of the other companies we've talked about, they're also working with various sports organizations to retrofit older stadiums, focusing on, energy savings and meeting those increasingly strict environmental standards.
So these 5 companies are really the ones shaping the LED stadium lights market. But our research also turned up some interesting up-and-comers that could shake things up a bit.
Oh, yeah. Who are we talking about?
Well, there's Zumtobel Group AG from Austria, AEON LED from the US, and get this, Netgear Inc., also from the US.
Wait, Netgear? The networking company? What are they doing in this stadium lighting game?
I know, right? And it's kind of a surprise. But they're using their expertise in IoT and network connectivity to jump into the smart LED lighting world. They're creating these really innovative control solutions designed for large venues. And since they're already big in networking, they're in a good position to offer those integrated solutions for connected stadiums, which is a growing trend.
That makes sense. What about those other companies you mentioned? What makes them contenders?
Zumtobel Group, they're known for making really energy-efficient and high-performance LED solutions, especially their control systems. They've got a strong presence in both Europe and North America, and are all about sustainable design. Then there's AEON LED. They're making a name for themselves by creating high-quality stadium lights that are super bright and durable, but they're also focusing on keeping things affordable and customizable. Interesting. What about the international players?
Well, you've got Shenzhen Macri Photoelectric Technology from China, They're taking advantage of China's manufacturing power to produce really cost-effective, high-power LED floodlights, and they're really focusing on energy efficiency and affordability, which is perfect for those rapidly growing emerging markets. Then there's AAA LUX from the Netherlands. They're all about high-mast lighting systems, the kind you see in a lot of big stadiums and ports. They offer some really advanced dimming and control tech and are all about energy savings and being flexible.
Okay, so we've got all these new companies entering the market. How do they actually pose a threat to those big players we talked about earlier?
It's a combination of things. They're innovating in specific areas, they're able to offer more affordable solutions in certain markets, and they're really focusing on expanding strategically, especially in those high-growth regions like Asia-Pacific and Europe. They're nimble and can adapt quickly to what different markets need, which lets them gain a foothold where those bigger companies might be focused on broader strategies.
So they're shaking things up by being specialized and adaptable.
Exactly. It's like David versus Goliath, but in the stadium lighting world.
I like it. So let's say there's a new company that wants to get into this market. What do they need to do to succeed?
Well, first and foremost, they've got to develop LED solutions that are super energy efficient, put out a ton of light, and last a long time. That's just table stakes.
Yeah, that's the bare minimum these days.
Right. But to really make a splash, they need to go beyond that. They need to offer those dynamic control systems, integrate with smart IoT platforms, and be able to customize their solutions to fit different venues.
So it's not just about the lights themselves anymore, it's about the whole package.
Exactly. And then there are things like sourcing materials strategically and making sure their manufacturing is as efficient as possible so they can keep costs down without sacrificing quality.
Right, gotta stay competitive.
And they should definitely target those high growth regions we talked about, like Asia Pacific and Latin America, places where they're building a ton of new sports infrastructure. And it would be smart to either set up shop in those regions or partner with local distributors and contractors who know the lay of the land.
And we've talked a lot about sustainability. How can a new company use that to their advantage?
Sustainability is huge, and it's only going to get bigger. New companies should focus on developing eco-friendly solutions and even offer retrofitting services to help venues get rid of those old, inefficient lighting systems.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And finally, they should build relationships with sports organizations, event companies, and stadium operators. Having those partnerships can really help them get their foot in the door and gain credibility.
So to wrap things up, we've learned a lot about the LED stadium lights market. It's a market that's on fire, expected to more than double in value by 2033.
Driven by the need to use energy more efficiently, constant advancements in technology, and all those investments in sports infrastructure around the world.
We talked about the big five companies that are leading the charge: Signify, Eaton, Acuity Brands, Musco, and Hubble.
And we even shone a light on some up-and-coming companies that could challenge those big players in the years to come.
And for those new companies looking to break into this exciting market, it's all about prioritizing energy efficiency, offering advanced features, staying competitive on cost, strategically expanding into new markets, and embracing sustainability as a core value.
It's a dynamic market full of established giants and ambitious newcomers all trying to get a piece of the pie.
And the fuel that keeps this market burning bright is innovation and a commitment to sustainability.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
So with that, we'll leave you with a final thought. We've talked a lot about the amazing advancements in lighting technology and the push for sustainability. But what other innovations, beyond just the lights themselves, do you think will change the way we experience live sports in the future? Think about how this tech could be integrated with other parts of the stadium or even the broadcast to create something truly new and immersive. It's definitely something to ponder. Thanks for joining us on this illuminating deep dive into the world of LED stadium lights. We'll see you next time.